Right, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm just back from Barbenheimer. First of all, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who dressed up for the day. It just made the day 10 times better. You know, everyone was dressed up in pink. You know, I was a little self-conscious. I was like, oh, will I dress up in pink now, or what will I do? Brilliant day, the best day for cinema I've ever experienced anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to tell you about the movies, so I'm just going to say it here. There will be spoilers about Barbie and Oppenheimer, but I'm also just going to talk about the day. Me and Emma, we go to the Omniplex in Mahon in Cork. They have a massive cinema there, you know, the IMAX and all that. We didn't go to the IMAX, you know, we just wanted to go to we just wanted to see the movies. I know Christopher Nolan had the 70mm film instead. I didn't really care about that. I just want to watch the film, obviously. We went to Barbie first. Now, there was definitely a few different opinions as to which one should we go to first and which one should we go to next. You know, I see a lot of people, but I just felt, for me anyway, I have it in my head that Oppenheimer is the big film. You know, Barbie was too, but I always thought, okay, Oppenheimer's the big one, we're gonna watch that second. So we went to Barbie at 1 o'clock and it was fantastic, you know. And I wore this really colorful jumper, again really self-conscious, you know. I was just like, no, I'm gonna do this, you know, it's fun to do it. But it went away immediately when everyone was wearing pink, you know, in the shopping center. Yeah, what do I think of Barbie? There was so much going on in Barbie, you know. It's like a comedy, but there's obviously a really deep meaning in it, and that's basically what it was. Margot Robbie is like the main Barbie. They're all, literally all of them are just called Barbie and Ken, and then there's one Alan. All the Barbies and Kens have like their own world or whatever, and they live there and everything's perfect, you know, they're dolls basically. And all of a sudden Margot Robbie, she's noticing weird things. She's like, oh, I'm thinking about death, I'm thinking about this, I'm getting sad, I'm crying and all that. So she finds out that her owner passing her emotions onto the doll or something like that, and then they go to the real world to basically sort it out, her and Ken, Ryan Gosling, which I have to say, I'd say it was one of the best casting decisions ever to have Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, I didn't know he was funny, to be honest. I didn't really watch him in anything, but he's hilarious. He's so funny.
I'm sure you're all aware of the Coco Chanel rule. Before you leave the house, you take one thing off. The Ken rule is you put 3 things on.
He played the role perfectly. In the Barbie land kind of world they're in, men are like second class, women rule Barbie land. And anyway, Ken goes to the real world, he starts noticing, he's like, oh, men are important here and all that. And then when they go back, he passes on that ideology to the rest of the Kens. For some reason, all the Barbies are then brainwashed and like men rule Barbie land. Margot Robbie finds her owner, sorts that out, but then realizes that Ken is taking over Barbie land or whatever. That's basically the plot line. It's a fantastic film. It is so good. Both of the films we went to, they both had really big casts, huge superstars in it, you know. And there was a lot of people in it that just like popped in for like a second. I was like, what is he doing there? Like John Cena is in it, Dua Lipa is in it, but they're only there for like 3 seconds and they're gone again, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of fourth wall breaking. I love when movies do that. I think it's hilarious. There's a scene where Margot Robbie is basically crying because she's not perfect anymore. She's taken the emotions from a human being. She's basically like, oh, I don't even look that good anymore. And then the whole film stops and the narrator goes, it's really hard to make this point when we casted Margot Robbie. Like, they just said that out loud. If the movie was to win anything, I think it definitely has to be supporting actor. Ryan Gosling was just amazing. He was absolutely freaking believable. You know, Margot Robbie was unbelievable too, don't get me wrong, but I think Ken was better, to be honest. I think he was just fantastic. It was funny, actually. It was at 1 o'clock on a Friday in the summer. I was like, oh, this is going to be full of kids now. Like I say, me and Emma are going to be the only adults. I was completely wrong. There was no kids in there, all adults wearing pink. You know what I mean? And it's just really funny, everyone's wearing pink, and then the odd time you'd see like these group of lads walking in and just wearing normal clothes. I love these sort of movies. The Simpsons did it a lot. It's a comedy, but deep down they have a meaning to it. There's a few scenes from Simpsons that actually would like have me crying. The one that sticks out to me the most is the Do It For Her scene with Maggie.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
That's basically what this film is. It's a comedy, but they have these really deep moments in it. So like, what's the meaning of the movie? I'm still trying to figure that out. There's so many like meanings towards it. I think the main meaning is it's okay to not be perfect, and like it's okay to be upset. I think they were going down the route of trying to teach people that, like, you know, emotions are okay. It's okay to feel angry, sad, upset at things. That's what I got from the movie anyway. I had to really think about it because I actually wasn't too sure. On Letterboxd, I rated a 4 out of 5, and for my rating, I'd say Barbie was like an 8.7. So that went on for about 2 hours. We then had a 2-hour break until Oppenheimer, which was on a 5. Got Nando's, got our dinner. Great day out, like Nando's as well. Bang, back into Oppenheimer. There was a lot going on with Oppenheimer. There was so much going on. 3 hours is definitely a long time for a film, but I feel this film needed the 3 hours to explain everything. Of course, it's about Oppenheimer's life, about how he grew up, like learning about science and all that. Of course, building the bomb. But for me, I thought that's where the movie ended, was when the bomb drops on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. That's where the movie ends, but it doesn't actually. And it then goes into this massive part about legal stuff, that like the government thought that Oppenheimer was like a traitor, basically. They thought he was like giving information to the Russians, and he's fighting this battle with a guy named Strauss, who is Robert Downey Jr. I really have to go watch it again. That's the basis of the whole film. It is unbelievable. I'd say it has to be the movie of the year. I don't know if anything's going to get bigger than that, to be honest. I find it mad that Cillian Murphy was the main man. Cillian Murphy is actually from where I'm from. He's from Cork, which is so weird. Okay, I can never comprehend that this man, I'd say he will win an Oscar. Like, his performance was just outstanding. I just couldn't believe it. It's just so funny how he changes. He has a thick Cork accent like me, but it's just the way he completely changes into whatever he plays, you know. And like Barbie had an all-star cast, like there was a few characters again that only popped in for a second or two, but the main one definitely for me is Rami Malek. Rami Malek is a huge actor, but he was only in it for literally screen time. I'd say he was on it for about 3 minutes, you know. He popped up here and there, and then he had a tiny talking scene at the very end, and that's it. So yeah, it starts off with him learning physics, and it's slowly him building up. I think there was a side story too about him being a communist. I think that's another reason why he was looked into so much, and there was a lot of stuff on communism. Florence Pugh was in this, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there was need for her to be in that movie. The only time the movie got a bit boring was when she was on the screen. I was just like, why is she here? He like cheated on his wife with this girl or whatever, and she adds nothing to the plot, like, you know. I'm guessing it's just trying to get into Oppenheimer's head, because he was like, this is obviously emotional stuff, but didn't like any of the times she was on. I was like, ah, crap, this is gonna be boring now again, like, you know. It's not her, obviously she was fantastic. I think the best part, I've rarely felt this kind of tension in a movie, being honest with you. I think it's the most I've ever felt was when it was the countdown to dropping bomb. It was a test to see if it would actually work. Oh my god, the tension, Jesus, your heart was pounding. Like, you know what happens, but it's the countdown to the bomb dropping. They're all like, okay, if this goes wrong, press the button to cancel it and all that. And when it actually goes off, they did it 3 or 4 times, which I think is cool. A really cool thing they did was the bomb would go off, so it'd be all this tension, all this music, everything building up, and then when the bomb would be dropped, everything would go silent and you just see the light. But what they do is they'd wait for the most quiet moment, and then they'd have the bang from the thing, you know. And you know what, they did that twice. Every time the tension built in anything, like Cillian Murphy was getting interviewed for a thing, and the tension was building up, like all the flashing cameras, everything building up, and then it would just go quite quiet. Then it would be boom, a huge, massive, and like when you're in like the cinema, it's just sound is amplified, just like that. Oh god, it was class, unreal. They like really played with your emotions. You're like, oh my god, when is this gonna go off now? Like, it's ready, like the tension built up and it's gone quiet. So I like the way he kind of used the bomb, kind of, oh, like the bomb going off, and he puts it into like everyday kind of things. That was probably the best part. The only other time I ever felt that kind of tension in a cinema was Joker. As I said, I thought the movie would end when they dropped the bomb, but they didn't. Went on to this massive court thing. It was class, but there was so much going on that I kind of lost it, to be honest. I lost what was going on. I didn't pick it up right, so that's why I really want to go see this movie again, because I didn't understand a lot of the stuff. There was one scene which hit me the most, and when they did it, everyone in the cinema was like, oh my god, you know, you heard everyone go and all that. It was when they were deciding where to drop the bomb. The guy like deciding goes, 11 cities we can hit. Oh no, sorry, 10. I left out this city because me and my wife love to holiday there. We don't want the city to being destroyed. And everyone was like, oh my god, like, it was brilliant. Fantastic movie. I need to watch it again. I think a lot of people are going to have to watch it again, because there was a lot going on that it would lose you quickly, because the movie's going so fast. Elvis, that director, did it too. I can't remember his name. He's known for being really fast, his editing. Christopher Nolan had to do it because there was just so much to talk about, like 3 hours non-stop action, really. It's great. I had really high standards for it. I may have set my standards like ridiculously high. Like, I thought this was going to be the greatest movie of all time. Probably not far off being the greatest movie of all time. I'm actually not lying to you there. Oppenheimer, I'd have to put into the 9s. I'd probably give it like a 9.2, 9.3. It's really high up. I don't know if I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. You know, I'm trying to save the 5 stars for like when I know this is the best movie I've ever watched. You know what I mean? Josh, the guy from Drake and Josh, is in it. I don't know if I would have casted him, to be honest. honest, because like every time you're gonna look at him, you're like, that's Josh from Drake and Josh, like, you know. One more thing I'll say, Albert Einstein, whoever played Albert Einstein was freaking brilliant. Unreal. What a great actor. I think everyone who's watched the movie knows what I'm talking about. There's this really funny scene. I don't know if they meant to do it or not. Or Oppenheimer gets out of the taxi and the taxi drives off. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Albert Einstein just pops up, and it's the middle of the night. Taxi drives off. Albert Einstein comes running up with something, and he's like in his pajamas and all that, and everyone started laughing, and I was like, why is this guy doing it? I thought it was like a comedy or something like that, like that scene in The Simpsons where Lisa's like, the train hasn't driven past here in years, then the train drives past, then all of a sudden that crazy cat lady is there. It was like that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Barbenheimer experience. I really hope we get days like this again. This was the best cinema day ever. I love films. I watch films all the time, every single day. I recommend both movies. Go watch them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a good day. Goodbye.